There is a lot of debate online as to which wearable tracker is best to help you stay on track with your health and fitness goals. It can often feel quite overwhelming given that these different products have pros and cons depending on who is wearing it. However, I can confidently say that there is one to rule them all, and it is this bad boy. So why did I choose to get a Whoop in the first place? Well, I was ultimately a bit tired of wearing this all the time, as the choice I made with my Garmin meant that it was a bit like having a brick on my wrist, and I wanted to separate my activity tracking from my lifestyle tracking, which is where Whoop came in. So monitoring my sleep, my activity, and my recovery in here, and then whenever I was going out for a run, cycle, swim, putting this thing on. So there was a bit of a ceremony of starting each session. However, quick disclaimer, is something I want to make crystal clear from the off is not to take the data that this gives you as gospel. Same as MyFitnessPal when you're calorie tracking, you want to use it as a tool in your lifestyle to make more informed decisions rather than treating it as the be all and end all. For example, the pinnacle of modern health, Dr. Andrew Huberman, has said that Whoop is leading the way in fitness tracking in his opinion, but he does really want to reiterate not to take the information as gospel because it can psychologically influence how you feel and maybe make you underperform when you could have performed at a certain level in the first place. So don't take it as gospel, use it to make informed decisions, and don't treat it as the be all and end all. So point number 2, how do I actually use Whoop in my day-to-day life? And the one you'll have heard spoken about most on social media, on the internet, in forums all over the world is sleep tracking. And ultimately, that's the feature that's given me the most, as it's allowed me to make more informed decisions around my habits around sleep, but more on that later. Okay, so what are some of the limitations? As I've already mentioned, it is not an activity tracker, it is a lifestyle tracker. So whilst it does track your running, cycling, it picks up activities automatically, it's not going to give you real-time data, it's not going to give you distance, it's not going to track GPS as you go, you're not going to be able to refer to it on your wrist, so don't assume that it will. Activity tracker, lifestyle tracker, different things. Secondly, it is not a watch. It doesn't tell the time, and nor does it in fact have a step counter. So it's not an Apple Watch, it's not a dress watch, and it's not an activity tracker. So what is it? As I've already said, it is a lifestyle tracker. Lastly, it is not going to make the changes for you. And if you feel attacked at this point, then I somewhat apologize. But at the end of the day, this is there to give you the information for you to take action in your own day-to-day life. So don't be one of these people that says, oh, terrible recovery today, ha ha ha, I'll put that on my story, and then just do the same thing again, because that is not helping you or anyone else, and you're not using the information effectively to make changes and more informed decisions on a day-to-day basis. Now with the limitations out of the way, let's get down to why I love this little thing here oh so very much. So the first thing, as I've already mentioned, is sleep tracking, as it allows me to look into the detail of my quality of sleep, the timings around it, when I went to sleep, when I got up, and therefore I can plan and prepare and better monitor my circadian rhythm so that I can make more decisions about my recovery, when I'm doing what during the day, and ultimately how I am approaching sleep in general terms. So if we look at my data from Wednesday the 14th of December, I had 7 hours and 50 minutes of sleep, went to sleep at 8:45 and woke up at 5 a.m. So according to Whoop, 20% of my time in bed was spent in deep sleep. This is an optimal amount for healthy adults, good to know. But that information is only useful if I continue to aim for that rather than thinking, oh great, well done Fergus, let's have 6 pints. So what I'll look at is the time awake, light sleep, deep sleep, and then REM sleep, which is the sort of 4 components of what we're looking for. And then there's some sleep metrics at the bottom, which I will come back to. But essentially, you can really deep dive on your sleep data, and you can start to piece together the pattern that ultimately informs why this is the case. We will also give you a prescription on the amount of sleep needed on a day-to-day basis. So on Wednesday the 14th of December, I had a 93% score, as I was pretty close to the total amount of sleep needed recommended by Whoop. So again, recommendations, not gospel. Don't beat yourself up if you're 15 minutes short of the recommended amount, but use it as something to guide you around your day-to-day existence so that you can improve your sleep and overall recovery. Secondly, the recovery metrics are very useful, and I actually find the biggest link between my recovery score and my outputs is on stress, because my training's pretty similar week on week. So where my recovery score is impacted is on workload around that, and the sleep patterns, the alcohol, the time I'm eating, the travel, all the stuff going on around it. So I can know when I'm sort of burning the candle at both ends a little bit too much, because I can see a bit of a downturn in my recovery score. But recently things have been looking pretty good. However, what's interesting to note is, I'll put that up on the screen for you just here, but Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday last week were all pretty solid, and then Monday, Tuesday were really quite bad, as I was up north in Perthshire celebrating my birthday. A lot of alcohol, not usual nighttime morning routines, wasn't training both days, hydration was probably worse than it could have been, and you can see that my recovery was impacted as a result of that. Wednesday, there's still some residual fatigue as a result of that, and today I'm feeling a little bit worn down, run down, and there are a few things that we've actually flagged indicating I might not be all that well. My respiratory rate was elevated last night, and I can feel the asthmatic within. I am actually asthmatic, I'm not just using that as a joke. A little bit of a tickly throat, my breathing's not great today, and it maybe indicates that I'm potentially a little bit worn down. Hello everyone, the illness that is kicking about at the moment has got me. I feel terrible as a result of trying to take a few days off. The irony is not lost on me, but nonetheless, I can monitor my recovery data over the course of a week, over the course of a month, and I can better monitor when I need to take some more time off, when I need to scale things back, or if I've got an opportunity to really put my foot on the pedal and send it forwards, busy weekend of work, busy weekend of socializing, then I can do so through monitoring my data. Lastly, there are a couple of obscure features that I find an enormous amount of value in. First and foremost, the alarm feature, where you can set an alarm on your phone, which uses this as your alarm clock in the morning, which I think is fantastic because one, it gently wakes you up, and two, it means that you can avoid your phone for as long as you want first thing in the morning, which is something I think we all need to get better at in the modern world. It means you can go about your morning routine, get some training done, get some cleaning done, get your ice cold plunges, reading done, whatever you like to do in the morning without any distractions from technology before you get going. Because no matter how good at it we are, if you see angry email from your boss first thing in the morning, that's going to set your day up for a bit of anxiety, a bit of stress, and if you can avoid that entirely, great. That's what the alarm does for me, and you can experience it too. Secondly, as an asthmatic, I like to keep a close eye on my respiratory rate, and I've already mentioned that this morning it was a little bit elevated, that Whoop flagged to me, and I can tell today my breathing's a little bit off. I've needed to use my inhaler a lot more, so it means that I can be aware that there's something going on in my body at the moment that I should be aware of. So probably means no high intensity work outdoors in the cold. It's about -4, -5 degrees Celsius at the moment, which is pretty cold for us. There might be some Canadians watching going, that's a summer, my friend, but it's cold here and it affects my asthma, so shut up, okay? But nonetheless, I keep an eye on that on a day-to-day basis because I can notice a clear link between the respiratory rate and Whoop. If everything's aligned, my breathing and my asthma is at bay. But if it's elevated, I do need to be careful and conscious of my asthma when training and when outdoors in the cold, because I need to have my inhaler close by. So Whoop is giving me great feedback that allows me to better manage my asthma. And for me personally, I think that's fantastic. So for the final point today, and perhaps the most controversial one, other than when I did kind of get lost in my flow and tell Canadians watching to shut up, sorry about that, is the price. Personally, I think the return on investment for Whoop users is a good one, and I don't think that's just for athletes either. It can be for anyone that's just wanting to look after their health and fitness a bit more, those of you that work demanding jobs, those of you that are just focusing on health and fitness going into 2023. It's a great time to take more control over your lifestyle habits and the actions that you take. So whether you're an athlete or whether you're somebody that's just looking to empower yourself with your health and fitness a bit more, Whoop is a great return on investment. However, that is on the condition that you are actually taking action and making changes based on the feedback. If you're just laughing at your Whoop data and thinking, haha, I'm in the red again, oh no, I'm not doing anything, then it's potentially not such a good return on investment. So how much does it actually cost? Well, Unlike the potentially high upfront one-off cost that's associated with activity trackers like this one, north of 500, 600, maybe even £700 in this day and age, Whoop is a subscription-based model, which means that you can spread the cost over a longer period of time and see if it's for you. Currently, you can get a year of Whoop for £264 or around $300 for my American friends. They do also offer pay monthly options, but it does tend to be better value if you sign up for a year or more. Psst. And with that being said, if you click the Whoop link down below, there is a little discount in there so you can get your first Whoop band a little bit cheaper. Okay, so if you've made it this far, I just want to say thank you, because I know that fitness wearables are a pretty controversial topic within the fitness industry, but after committing 6 months to this thing, I feel I can give quite an informed opinion on how it has improved my day-to-day existence. I have quite a high training volume most of the year, sometimes up to 30 hours a week, alongside quite high workload running 2 businesses. So I need to be quite conscious of these things, and Whoop has really helped me be more conscious of those things. So all I've done today is share my opinions and how Whoop has ultimately helped me to this point. So hopefully there's some things that you can take away that you feel might be able to help you. And if that's the case, that would be fantastic. Just a reminder, there is a link in the description down below if you'd like to save yourself a little bit of dinero. And don't forget to like the video, comment down below with your thoughts, feelings, experiences up until this point on Whoop, or anything that you have to maybe come back at me on, perhaps. And do make sure that you have hit the subscribe button as well. Thank you very much. Other than that, thank you again for watching, and I will see you next time.